Very good morning to all my dear friends. I hope you all are doing good. I'm Prashant Mauni. I warmly welcome all of you to StudyIQ. The moment you put a deadline on your dream, it becomes a goal. Said by Harsa Pogle. Now I will leave it on you guys to break it down, right? Very simple statement here today. You have Saturday, so you can take out 5-10 minutes and think about it from various different angles. And the reason why I insist you to think on this, or the reason you are being provided with this sort of unusual you can say challenge, is because this sort of things, right, when you think about it from different angles, it basically expands your horizon and it will improve your critical analytical skills as well. With this, dear friends, up to 40% discount is available on pen drive and tablet courses that are offered by StudyIQ. If you go to StudyIQ.com, you will find a series of things that we offer, right? Different exams and different pen drive and tablet courses that we have recently added. So make sure you check out StudyIQ.com. Just in case if you have any question queries, you have chat support as well as the numbers on your screen. You can feel free and give us a call just in case if you have any doubt. Now today you have one, I would say, grand editorial, right? A very big editorial, or you can say a very long one, but it is a very interesting one as well. As you can see here, right, this one is basically covering the whole page of the Hindu, right? Very rarely you see this sort of long editorials. So far as I remember, this would be the 5th or 6th in last many years I have seen this editorials. Anyways, we are not here to talk about size. Quantity is not that much important. It is the quality that matters, right? So basically this editorial is about a press conference that took place yesterday. Now this press conference is a very interesting press conference in itself, because you find these 4 gentlemen, right? And if you don't know who they are, then of course now as you can read it as well on your screen, they are 4 senior most judges of Supreme Court. Yes, right after Chief Justice of India, right, you have this 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, these 4 judges. Now I'm sure you know it very well because we have talked about it, and for the new listeners, you can pay attention to this thing that CJI plus this 4 makes the Collegium system. Collegium is basically a body that selects judges, right, for Supreme Court and for High Courts. So it is for transferring one High Court judge to somewhere else, or elevating someone and making someone a High Court Chief Justice of High Court. So Collegium, very powerful body, one thing. The second thing that I would like to add is that, remember yesterday it was in news that this system has this, basically this Collegium selected one female lawyer, and she's going to be, hopefully going to be a female judge. A very good thing, no doubt. But now this one is not about that. This one is about the concern they have, or they are not happy regarding the way Chief Justice of India, right, the current Chief Justice of India, that is Deepak Misra, the way he is conducting things. These 4 judges are not happy about it. Now this is a very strange thing in itself, or when I say strange, I mean to say it is quite interesting as well, that we see 4 judges. And you know how Chief Justice of India, or how one judge becomes a Chief Justice, it is based on their seniority, right? So you don't need any sort of special skills. When I say special skills, I mean to say that if you are a Supreme Court judge, then you don't have to be outstanding to become CJI. It works in a very, you can say, old-fashioned way, that your seniority in judiciary and your age, these are the things that matters for you to be a CJI. So here you can also think about that CJI, or the way you select a CJI, or the way you want to become CJI, is not the most perfect thing, right? It is a bit outdated, I must say. Anyways, so this is the problem. The problem is that basically if we go to the root of this thing, then we find that there is a case, right? The name of the case is here. I have it here for you. I just forgot the name of the case. Yes, this one is about Prasad Education Trust case. Now what happened here is Chelameswar, right? Justice Chelameswar, he said that there was a petition. So someone said that if you ask or if the judge, one of the judge, if Chief Justice of India or Deepak Misra, if he is going to be one of the judge presiding the bench on this particular case, Prasad education case, then this is going to create conflict of interest. So at that point of time, Justice Chelameswar decided, he said that he basically said that he is constituting a new bench, right? And that bench will look after this Prasad case. So remember that in terms of seniority, he is second to CJI. So because CJI, Chief Justice of India, is going to carry on for a bit of long time this year, by the end of this year, late this year, he is going to retire. So by time this Chelameswar is going to retire, or else he would become the next CJI. So anyways, so he decided that he is going to constitute a bench, and the CJI, Chief Justice of India, at that point of time, remember this sort of words were coming out, that master of roster is CJI. CJI is the only person who can decide the composition of benches and allot judicial work. This was clearly stated by Chief Justice of India, this Justice Deepak Mishra. So right, he is right as well. Technically it is the CJI, but the question is not who is the master of roster. The main question is how things are conducted. Basically what used to happen, or the normal practice, is that a bench, or say for example a senior most judge will, one of the senior judge will recommend that this is the way we should do this thing, and then the CJI will go through the process. He will see, or he or she will ensure that all the rules and regulations are followed. If there is any conflict of interest or anything, then of course it is the duty as well as responsibility of CJI, because it's not only about that person, it is also about upholding the dignity and the trust people have in justice system or judiciary. It is CJI's and as well as every other judge's responsibility to uphold this trust and respect that citizen of this country and the world as well, around the world, our judiciary system is quite appreciated. And it may sound a bit strange because the way many a times we find it takes ages, but when it comes to delivering justice and other things, right, the way our judges are working, right, there are many other positive sides as well. So this sort of things are quite famous around the world. So it is the duty of CJI to ensure that he or she is of course a master of the roster, but the process should be transparent, the process should be democratic. Now the other thing is that what is happening in fact, or what happened in this case, or why they are not happy, is that they are complaining that what actually took place is, rather than taking them on board regarding this case, the CJI is assigning this cases to junior judges. Again, I would say, I would like to, of course, these people are they have experience, they are expert in judiciary, they know bit better than us, right, because they are expert in that field. But as a food for thought, I would say that we should not see it as a junior judge and senior judge. Again, we are running in the same track, right, that the most senior person will become CJI, or a junior judge is low in rank compared to a person who has been there for more years. This is something that has to be changed. Now it is difficult to basically scale which judge is better than, or when you compare two judges. It depends, right? It is going to be, it is not quantity that we are counting, it is the quality of things. So it is going to be the most challenging thing. We will find some errors as well, but we should think about this thing, because junior and senior in terms of age it's something that is outdated at present in today's era. And couple of days ago as well, Supreme Court said that the society, right, or the laws and rules and regulations should be up to date with the changing things, the things that do change in the society. So in the same way, we need to change this thing as well. Now coming to this government, right? Government has said that it is not going to interfere with this thing. It may sound good, but one thing that government should interfere, or a step that government has to take, is this memorandum of procedure. There are some clauses in this memorandum of procedure, basically rejecting the name rejecting the name that is recommended by Collegium, and rejecting in the name of national security. Now, of course, we understand that when something is against our nation's security, then we should act for or against it, right? But the thing is, here national security is not defined, right? So basically what will happen, or what may happen, is that government may reject someone's name just terming it national security. I'm not saying that government always does this thing, but you cannot allow this sort of loopholes as well. So Supreme Court is not happy about, or the Collegium is not happy about this national security thing. So these are the things, right? And the government should sort out this memorandum of procedure. A couple of months ago, it was there in the Hindu that now MOP is going to be sorted out, but still it is not sorted out yet. So until and unless we don't sort out these things, until and unless this selection process is not up to date, then we may see this sort of things as well. And the best thing, the logical thing, is for the Supreme Court to sort this thing out by itself, within itself, right? By means basically all the judges can come together and they can debate and discuss this thing. And because they are learned, this is what they do, right? They listen to people. They find out the logical things that are there, and based on that thing, they take decision. So something that they do or they are good at, they should do it here as well. With this, dear friends, this is a news item, and of course this one is again a news picture as well, right? This image, you find it on the first page of the Hindu. So I have clubbed this news items together, and then you have some not that important details, but you have this details like this judge is going to retire at this point of time, etc., etc. So I have skipped those sort of things. And now here you can see two statements. One is coming from a minister, so basically government, and one is coming from Attorney General, again government. So what he has said is that this should not have happened. My expectation is that it will be resolved in next 2 days. Our judiciary is reputed all over the world as independent, and they will sort out the matter. Yes, hopefully they will sort out the matter. Let's see. We are going to find more editorials. If not editorials, then of course articles, right? Articles on this particular thing, we will find it. So let's keep it till here, and we'll analyze it when we get some more things on this particular item. Now this one is about rights in age of big data. Very important article in terms of innovation, in terms of data protection, because the best thing I must say about this article is that it is talking about fundamental rights and innovations, and it also says that a mistake that we have done, what we have kept both these fundamental rights as well as innovations, we are scaling it, or we are comparing these two things with each other. Now let's see what mistake we have made in this thing. Now there is a substantial public sentiment that distrusts legal rules and state structures, and we know now that the way things are going on, we trust more. You can say technology is a thing that we trust more than human beings, and many times we find it convenient as well to trust on smartphones more. We trust our smartphone more than we trust our government. So this is the thing, and you can say a couple of decades ago, there was a person called John McCarthy. He said, he talked about this technology-centric society. Basically, he's the person who came out with this, coined this term called artificial intelligence. And what he said that he was talking about a society in which we have artificial intelligence and everything is done by AIs and things like that. But it's not that his views were unchallenged, no. And this is how it should be, right? If you present a new view, then there should be some challenges as well. This is not about putting someone down. It is about sharpening their edges. So there was a prominent challenger named Joseph Weizenbaum, and back in 1976, his book titled Computer Power and Human Reason put people at the center of technological progress rather than being its subject. This is a very important, you can say, insight provided by this book, that it is the human beings, right? We have to keep human beings right at the center, and all the technologies that we have or that we are going to create or that we have created should be human-centric rather than human being technology-centric. Now let me explain it a bit further or break it down for you. At present we have Justice B.N. Sri Krishna Committee, and this committee, Justice B.N. Sri Krishna is a former Supreme Court judge, and basically he is going to come out with recommendations regarding this data protection law. You know, this is a big thing in our country, a big topic, and there are high chances that you may find this topic or question based on this topic in your mains examination. So pay attention to this thing. Now concerns are being raised, and we find many different people, many different stakeholders around from different parts of country, right? They have expressed their concerns regarding the white paper that is recently released by this B.N. Krishna committee. It has 233 pages, and it has possesses 233 distinct questions as well. Now we may find it that 233 page, it's nearly a book, isn't it? And it has many questions as well, 200 plus distinct questions. So naturally we may think that it is going to cover all the important items that are associated with this thing. But the biggest, you can say, I won't say mistake, but a thing that we should think about is we cannot compare these two things. We cannot compare them, right? You cannot put individual rights at one place, and you cannot compare it or weigh it with technological innovation. And the reason why I'm saying is because when we do this thing, we don't put people at the center. What we are doing is we are keeping or comparing these two things, and eventually we are keeping technology innovation in the center. And the reason is that, see, all the things we do, right? Normally there is a thing going on at present that technology is going to change our life and it is going to be bigger and bigger, etc. Yes, that is right? It has made our life much easier, particularly this IT thingy we are talking about. Digital world has made our life much easier. I agree with it, but with it has provided us, or you can say the side effect the side effects are something that are very subtle, like say for example mobile phones and your sleep, right? It distorts your sleep cycle. And earlier on we used to get entertained. Now this is a very common dialogue, many a times you find it in the films, but this is right as well, right? Many years ago we used to get entertained, we used to enjoy small things, and nowadays what we find is that even whilst eating food, even whilst in the temples or in mosques and in other places, religious places as well, whilst praying as well, if I'm sure you might have seen this sort of people as well, that whilst they're praying, if their phone is ringing, sadly they keep their phone on ring even in this sort of places, and they will answer the call as well. So it's not that they are not religious, it is a very, you can say, a bad habit that we have developed. I don't know whether it is bad or not, but as far as I know, so far what I have read and understood from different reports and other research that is going on in this field, we can clearly say that this thing has changed. This thing has changed the way we behave. You might have observed this thing. If you are 25, 26, something around this age, then think about it. You might have you might have lived in this age, and I'm sure you remember this thing as well, that the time when we were not having phones, right, mobile phones. At that point of time, people were having more patience, right? If someone has said that someone is going to come and visit you, then you won't be eagerly waiting, right? You know that that person is going to come and visit you. And nowadays we also see that we are writing, as everyone is having access to social media, so everyone has become a writer, whether you accept it or not, right? We write something and something, but then the quality or thinking has also gone down, generally speaking. So there are many things, right? I can go on and on, the list can be very long. So there are many things that we see, and this is one of the reason why, because one of the reason is that the technologies are designed keeping in mind not the people. It is more about keeping in mind the profit, or technological innovation, or how you are going to support and your new innovation and research lab and things like that. But if we keep human rights, benefits of rights, and other things in mind, if this is the thing, right, if the core human needs are kept in mind whilst designing this technology, then we are not curbing it. We are in fact supporting humanity, you may say, or we are providing them, or humanity is going to benefit out of it. Simple as that. So this is one of the main reason why we cannot compare these two different things. I'm sure this is a bit of out of box, I must say, this article is, and this sort of views, they do help us, because the things that we already know, that means that we are in our boundary. When we learn something new, something that is out of box, it takes a bit of time to digest it, right? But then we have created our own new boundary. So we have basically climbed one more step. So I hope this is clear now, right? If you have any questions regarding it, I think this was a bit of a difficult one to understand, but I don't know how better I have explained this thing to you. So do let me know if you find any sort of difficulty, then I can think of some other way to explain this particular article in our next discussion. With this, dear friends, we reach to news items, right? We reach to news items now, and let me quickly see whether we have left anything or not. Yes, no, sorry, this one is there. I was thinking that there is 3 articles that we have today, 1 big editorial and 2 articles. So this one is about budget. Now, what are the things that are going on with budget? You know that we started practicing this, or last 2017-18's budget was delivered, or you can say it was tabled on the 1st Feb 2017. And one of the reasons, there are some benefits associated with it, because we have monsoon season starting from June, and by time earlier on, what used to happen, by time the money used to come to different departments, we already means at that point of time it was nearly June, so you cannot carry on your construction work and other things. So basically you are having money, but for 2.5 months, 3 months time, you cannot use that money. And then you have again you have a new budget just around the corner. So to make the maximum out of the resources that we have, money is also a resource, so to make the maximum out of it, we decided to shift this date a bit earlier, keep it Feb 1. Is going to be the same. Now, the biggest problem that we may face, or the government is going to face with this budget, this year's budget, is GST. There are many reasons behind it. Now, the first thing is that, you know, GST has, since its introduction, it has gone through many different hurdles. We also saw this GSTN, right? GSTN networks, you can say failures. It failed many a times, and it created many problems as well. And of course you can understand, when for the very first time when we are introducing GST, so it is going to create a bit of problem for the people to understand. And as you know, just like the other article, it takes a bit of time to digest it. Anyways, so as per the rules, this January 10 is or was the deadline for companies whose turnover is less than 1.5 crore. Now, for the companies that whose turnover is more than 1.5 crore as well, their deadline for filing their GST return of between July to November, and here July to September was this. So this created a bit of, you can understand, you're getting data from smaller companies on January 10 for a different period than bigger companies for a different period. So it is going to create calculation problems for you. The other thing is that GST Council in the last meeting, remember I provided you some pictures from pink papers. At that point of time, in detail I provided you different rates or rate cuts that took place in different items. So GST rates were reduced, and because of this reduction, you can understand that at the end of the day the tax collection is going to be low. Right, so earlier on you got extra money in your pocket because the taxes were high on some items. Now you are going to get bit less because the taxes are, you have reduced it on some items. So for you can understand 6 months, 7 months, whatever data you have, there would be sort of variations. So you cannot come to you cannot have a clear picture when you have this sort of data in your hand. The other thing is, now the government has decided to get rid of this, or it has already. Earlier on used to have this GST R1, GST R2 and GST R3. So this GST R1 is for this outward supplies to other companies, right? When you are supplying things to other companies, then you file this GST R1. Then you have this GST R2. So this is for inward supply, the things that you are getting in. Now, how it used to work, you compare this GST R1 and GST R2, you tally it, and once you know that there is a balance or something is logical there, then you get your money back or GSTR returns and things like that. Now the government has decided to get rid of this. It has already done away with this GST R2. So this is again going to create, you can understand, more problems because you would have this outward supply data of a company, but what about its input data? So these are the things these are some of the major issues that government will face. And remember that budget is not only about revenue. Budget is more, or you can say budget is also about planning expenditure. But now if you don't know how you got the money or how much revenue you have got actually, so it is going to create problems with your planning regarding expenditure as well. So government is, you can say, it is going through huge amount of pressure. Now we have to wait and watch how they are going to sort this thing out. With this, dear friends, this is a news coming from Kashmir, basically associated with Kashmir. Red Fort attack accused has no terror record as far as this Bilal Ahmed Kawa is concerned, right? He is captured by Delhi police, and it is alleged that he is associated with this Red Fort attack that took place in 2000. So the government, government is, or you can say the police, Jammu and Kashmir police, is saying that he's not having a sort of terror history or record. So now they will have a chat with Delhi police. With this, dear friends, this one is about, there was a news item by mistake, it came here a bit. Okay, never mind, sorry about this. I thought there was a mismatch in slide. Anyways, so here we have another item, and this is about Chabahar Port. Now very interestingly, right, I have got a new item for you here. It is called PACE. Most important thing, we have talked about this JCPOA. It's basically this Iran nuclear deal, which USA has stepped out of it. You know it very well, and USA is going to means in near future we may find USA is applying more sanctions on this country Iran, and Iran has said that this will not impact Chabahar Port. Now before I reach to Chabahar Port, let me talk about this PACE. So here we have this Chabahar Port, right, and it is developed by India, and we have started using it as well. A couple of weeks ago it was in news that we have this first phase has been operationalized. Nitin Gadkari was there and they flagged this first shipment and things like that. So this one is connecting India with this Chabahar Port, and with the help of this Chabahar Port we can reach Afghanistan as well, because we know that this transit hurdles are created by Pakistan, so we cannot use this land route. The other thing is that airways, it's expensive, and so the best one is this one for us. Not only this, from here we can also reach different parts of Central Asia, and finally this Chabahar helps us in connecting or completing this whole chain of International North-South Trade Corridor, INSTC. Now I'm sure you know this Gwadar Port. Gwadar is a part of this CPEC, that is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor Belt and Road Initiative as well. It is part of this BRI. Now what is been highlighted here in this news is that Afghanistan may use the CPEC, right? And then when you take on board Afghanistan, then you have this PACE, right? Pakistan Afghanistan China Economic Corridor. So of course India is not going to be happy about this thing, right? Because then supplies would be, see, China and Afghanistan, they are having good relation. A couple of days ago it was in news, right? Remember that they are going to provide this military and weapons and other things, and they do. Many companies of Chinese companies have invested very hugely in Afghanistan. We don't have any problem with that thing, right? But Afghanistan and other countries, right, if they are if they will join this PACE, then it will impact, right? It will have some sort of impact on this Chabahar Port and connectivity with India. So let's see, right? But keep this thing in mind in terms of India, China, and or you can say South Asia politics. Then Army has expressed, Army has said this thing regarding, it has said that multi-pronged approach is something that is necessary when it comes to China. We have talked about this thing in the past, and remember diplomats, right? Many of you will join this IFS service, Indian Foreign Service. One of them, you can say, one of the most important role played by Foreign Service is first line of defense, right? It's not the border security force, it is this diplomats. So whenever talks fail, then you can have this sort of war, and even if you want to end a war or any sort of conflict, then it is talks that takes place on the table. So we need both diplomatic efforts as well as military efforts to ensure our country is safe. He has also expressed concern. See, Army Chief is talking about cyber and information warfare. So a big topic for you guys. You may find at least one question on this cyber crime and information, or new concept, how we should, because we are youngsters, so they may ask you a question like, what is our take, how we can tackle this thing. So think about this thing as well. Passport will not have the names of parents and home address, right? This has been declared by, again, Ministry of External Affairs, and it is for making it up to date. We have single parents, we have children, adopted children, and so when it was mandatory to have this names, so it was creating problems. But now it is we will not have this two things in it. India has talked about, or we have expressed our wishes, or we have provided our wish list to this UK, United Kingdom, their home office, regarding visa system. They have customized their visa system. It is in favor of Chinese people visiting there. So we have demanded for the same treatment, and we are part of this Commonwealth Heads of Government, right? And a meeting is going to take place and in London in April, and it is confirmed that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to visit London to attend this meeting. This one is about controversy that is going on between UK and USA. We have seen this thing that it is going up and up. So old relationships are not that good or not that healthy at present. It is about an opening of an embassy, and Donald Trump has clearly stated that it is a bad deal, and he said that he's not going to be there to cut the ribbon. And Britain's Boris Johnson has warned that this is going to create, or the relationship between these two countries are at risk. Nepal is relying more and more on China, right? China is, with the help, China has deep pockets, and in terms of work and technology as well, it is a bit better than our country, we must accept. So it is able to win the hearts and mind of the people, or the countries around us, neighboring countries. Industrial output expands 8.4%, pace at 25-month high. Very good news for our industry. Remember, this sort of news are declared by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Index of Industrial Production, IIP, 77.63. Lion's share of this IIP is constituted of manufacturing sector. So remember, many times you find this sort of things, you have to arrange the share of IIP. So manufacturing is 77.63. This one is about inflation. Inflation has gone high, 17-month high, 5.21. Remember that it is 4% is set, and you have plus and minus 2%. So the maximum it can go is 6, the minimum it can go is 2. This is the target given to RBI. It is 5.21. So naturally we won't see any sort of interest rate cut. Monetary stance is going to be as it is. Suresh Prabhu has appreciated the role of WTO. He has said that global trade expansion have happened largely because of WTO, and this is a picture of PSLV C40. With this we have launched 100th satellite. Dear friends, that's everything that we have got in today's version, right? I am eager to hear from you guys, and still I haven't heard anything regarding this fundamental duties, right? I have provided you the answer, but still I'm waiting for that question still stands, right? So do take out some time and provide your valuable feedback and answer regarding fundamental duties. With this, dear friends, I end this discussion. I will see you all soon, and enjoy your weekend. Jai Hind.